when I came back, first thing we're gonna touch on is this Uncle Vinny, this young kid. All right. I knew of, I think I remember asking you about Uncle Vinny last year when I wanted to do that post where he was going to host the Sahas.
The Sahas, yeah.
And I'm like, who's this kid? And you're like,
I told you.
He's the next
Scoop.
I'm like, huh? So I start reading up about him. I'm like, okay. But at that time, I know there's growth.
Yeah.
Right? As people grow, there's growth. But this guy's exploded.
Exactly. I told you.
This nigga has exploded.
What did you say to me when I told you he's the next Scoop and who's this other Caesar Tlomo? And you said, nah.
Well, you know what, the stuff that I was seeing when I was doing at that time, especially, he wasn't doing a lot of presenting or something like that. It was mostly about hosting parties and being an MC. Right? Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, so this guy is gonna become like, you know, the host of the host, like the MC.
Yeah.
But after the Sahas, then they announced that he's gonna be hosting that show, that sort of like news segment on MTV.
On MTV,
right?
Yeah, I know the show. I just forgot the name.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So now he's going into presenting, and then I'm like, wow. And then on the other podcast, when they interviewed him, the numbers just went sky high. They're fucking ridiculous. And I'm like, okay. And then you go onto Instagram and you're seeing this boy, he's like, of course, he's hanging around with the major league DJs, but you see the engagement on his posts and you're like, okay, there's something happening here. But what happened this weekend with his birthday
was some other level. Carnage.
Not. Like
rampage.
Like you're like, what the fuck? You saw the queues going around blocks in Bram. You're like, what the fuck? The streets were on lockdown because there's so many people and so many cars. And it's like, it's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
There's another video where I think they opened the gate to the thing and the crowd was just pushing through. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
He's had that effect on people since I think 15 or 16.
Yeah.
That nigga was planning and hosting parties before he was even allowed to get into the parties.
No. And I've heard something which is interesting, which I think why he's so focused. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. Right?
He's just he has that energy in him.
Yeah.
So
he can't dance either, but those fucking moves, like get the vibe going.
Exactly. He's an entertainer.
Yes.
If he had the talents to produce, he was gonna be Puffy. You see how Puffy can get the,
because he's also been featured in a song or two with who's this other boy? It's Major Steez or whatever.
Major Steez.
It's Major Steez.
Phantom Steez.
Yeah, Phantom Steez. Yeah. I think he's been in one or two songs there or something. Nah, like
that boy he has a radio show, by the way.
He's got a radio show now?
Yeah. No.
On the Hillbro.
In the Hillbro. I think it was Josie FM or Hillbro FM.
No, it's Hillbro. I remember when I was researching.
Yeah.
He was at Hillbro FM.
Imagine from what's that, community station or regional?
Yeah.
It's community station, right? Imagine from that, he might move. What's the obvious?
Of course, YFM.
Between Y and UJ.
I think
UJ is also big.
I think it's outgrown UJ.
Yeah, I think it's Tax FM and UJ FM is outgrown.
I think if he gets onto
Y,
it's probably, Y has been in a decline for quite some time now, and I think
they're gonna need.
He is, I look at this. I look at him. I look at Kamampela.
Yeah.
I know he's a little bit older, but I look at Tyson, the comedian guy.
Tyson.
Yeah, is it Tyson Comedy or something like that?
Okay.
I'll get his name. But I look at those guys. I look at Costa Tich. It's a breath of fresh air. And what I like is that there was a time where after Bonang, every girl presenter wanted to present like Bonang. Understand? And these guys are breaking that thing now where they're just starting a new way of doing things. They're just starting a new way of doing things, and it's fucking crazy. It's
And
an
I'm
amazing.
loving
Man.
it. I'm loving
It's
it.
dope.
You see how
It's dope.
free they are.
It's dope, man. It's dope.
And I remember I once told you way back that this new wave and this new generation of creatives, they're all about the vibes.
Exactly.
It's almost as if like they don't fuck the money. I'll get the money once I get the vibes.
I think they understand the number one rule of entertainment, which is be unique and do your shit as good as you want. And if you build it, they're gonna come.
They're gonna come.
Understand? Be unique, do your best, and if you build it, they're gonna come. So hence they're not following the rules. They like I think on the next episode we will keep on talking about doing a feature about the groups.
Yeah.
But just to touch on that, hence we don't have groups because everyone is like, I'm unique.
You
and if I
unique.
build it, they're gonna come. And hence the group philosophy, which is everyone for everyone, and we are stronger together. People they're stepping back. This guy's he was in school last year. Just getting back to Uncle
He's
Vin.
19.
Yes, he was in school last year and
High school.
and first year out, he's already started basically he's been building up to this. You talking about 15, I've heard people say he started doing and getting into these clubs and everything like that when he was 13.
See, I only heard of
I think Ukespa says he met Uncle Vinny at 13. Understand? So, but basically, you're looking at a 5-year grind that is now
and
just
build up.
and now he's got no school, so now he's just blowing up. I say now, these guys that I've just counted, they're gonna go beyond SA.
Yeah,
they're gonna be international.
Foka is already there.
They're gonna be international. Ukamumpela, she's mentioned that her aim is to go overseas. She's already choreographing shit for overseas people, right? Costa Titch, for me, he is one of those guys that represent what hip hop has actually become, where it's like you say, it's about the vibes, it's about the coolness of the music, and the mere fact that we can't ignore this. The mere fact that it's white and incorporating Kwaito, Kwaito stuff into his music, the dance into his music, the stuff that people can easily repeat, sort of like a tag, those things that you can repeat. That's gonna take him far. He's probably folk. He's probably the smartest artist we have.
Costa.
Yeah, he's smart in terms of how he does his music. We can't even talk about if he's good or not in terms of rapping.
Yeah,
because he's made that argument or that conversation null and void. He's saying, I'm doing this music thing the way I know how to do best. I'm giving people a good performance. I'm giving people a good time, right? And I'm going to incorporate where I come from, which is SA. I'm going to incorporate because then with that, I've got an identity, right? And you can sell that. And wow.
You sold it.
I at first I had my issues with, is he really what he reflects in his music where he uses vernac, is it really him? And I feel it's him now. If maybe at that time it wasn't him, but it's actually grown into him.
When last did you hear of him?
Foka, there's a song.
No.
Costa, there's a song that they released about a week or two back. There's also a snippet that he released of a song that is done with AKA.
Yeah.
Not the one in the album, but there's another one. Yeah. So he's been working.
Yeah,
but
apparently he's in a bad space, man. Like mentally. The whole negative vibe of, but he's a white guy, he's culture appropriation, and then he just fell into this dark place, and he stopped doing some interviews, and he just
No, I think with that, there's something that has to be said about that issue. I had some of those thinkings. I had some of those thoughts about it. And as I'm saying, at first I thought maybe he was just doing it as a gimmicky.
Yeah.
But I can see that it's actually part of him now. His management chose to shelter him. All right.
Oh yeah.
They chose. You talk about he's not doing interviews and all that. He's sheltered and is only experiencing the fan love, right?
Oh.
Now my issue with that is there are issues which are critical to his growth. This question of is he appropriating is a critical question. They should face it head on. They shouldn't let it sort of like simmer and let it grow over time. They should have just said, okay, you guys are saying this. He comes out with his story. He has a fucking, let's say, a big interview, whatever platform. Have a big interview where you face this shit head on. Because what is going to happen is that once you've explained your stance, it's out of your hands. But now, with you going back in your cocoon,
Yeah.
right? Because what happens is that once you've explained your stance, yes, you might not convince everyone, but there are going to be those who are like, oh, shit, I didn't realize about this. Oh, you get my point.
I get your point.
And you're going to get your fans defending you because they've heard from you about about the subject.
Yeah.
But now if you're going to shy away from it, even your fans want to support you, but they don't know your views about it. You get my point. The only thing they can say is like, let the kids have fun.
Exactly.
But at the moment, with especially since we are very close to American culture now, there's that big talk about appropriation, about black people actually making money and actually benefiting from the things that they started. They should benefit, all right? Okay. Now you can't run away from that. You're gonna let it grow. You're gonna let it grow legs. And I understand that he is young, cool enough, but his music, there's no age group in music.
Yeah.
You get my point.
Yeah.
So it's like you can be an 18-year-old, but 18-year-old Mbappe. But now if you're playing for PSG, you have to quickly get up there.
Yeah.
You have to quickly get to that point of PSG, the PR that is involved in PSG. You know how to treat the fans. They have to train you, media train you quickly. They can't say, this one is young, we're gonna shield him. You are at the spotlight, guy. You can't hide from it.
Yeah.
So I think they, for me,
his team needs to do a better job.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't have. I think there's no interview that where I've come across where he attends to the issue, right? And I'm just saying that they should have faced the issue head on. When it started, they should have, because there was a time where I think it went on after the album, where he dropped his album. Yeah. It went on for like a week and a half on Twitter. And a week and a half on Twitter is a fucking long time.
2 days is a long time.
Yeah. You understand? So what do? They call him back and they're like, no, the shelter. We're just going to bring you out when you do the performances. But now you're letting the thing simmer. At some stage...
And it's not like he doesn't have a phone. He sees these things online.
Yeah, of course. His management sees it online. At some stage, you're going to have to face it. So why are you letting it simmer? Just face it up front at the beginning. State your case, all right? And then let it be. Let it be and then you can ride it out.
Yeah.
At least you know you stated your case. Because these people are not going to stop. And even if after you stated your case, some people won't stop. But I'm just saying, at least there will be a reference of what you said. So whoever goes on now and start talking shit, it's because they're just maybe hating or they don't want to see from your point of view. But to run away from it, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. All right.
So,
but yeah, man, this kid's I'm happy about it, man.
They're on fire. Yeah?
This is fucking refreshing.
Refreshing.
Yeah, refreshing, man. And all the best to them, man. They teaching the especially the generation just above them. Oh, to be unique, dog.
Just be you.
Yeah, just be you. And, you know, the people that dig it, there's enough people, you know, with all the way you can distribute your creations now. You know, there's your Twitter, your Wadwada, your DSPs. You can do it yourself, and you'll find your tribe.
Yep.
Right. You don't have to try and ride onto somebody else's tribe. You find your tribe, and the people that like it will dig it. You're on.
You're out of here.
Yeah, for sure. So, for Uncle Vinny, is this the clap? Away, Masakin, man, all the best, dog. That was fucking beautiful. That was fucking beautiful. Man. And people were saying, if that is his 19th birthday, what's gonna happen on the 21st?